So I'm going to provide a quick overview on how to use the KSHSAA website. This is just based off of how it was set up for the 2020-2019 school year. It might have changed since then, or the requirements might be different, so some of this might not be correct. But again, this is just how I used it for the 2019-2020 school year. So once you go to the website, you're going to go up to Schools and log in. Your login, your user ID is what will determine whether you're given access as administrator or as a coach. So all admin will have, should have the same ID with a different password. And then all coaches would have a different ID with their own individual password. So we're going to log in as an admin so that we have access to things like eligibility and everything. So right away, if you go right here and go to the admin tab, you can change all of these things. So it lists the principal, the athletic director, the coordinator, and then our trainer, Josh. So if you go to update directory, it will let you change these names, and then it will generate your own individual password for you right here. So once an athletic coordinator is assigned, you'll go in, update directory, and it'll give you your own individual password that you can then log in with. So you will probably, obviously an admin with a password would have to go in and do that. So that's where under admin. Under staff here, these are all of our coaches with their own passwords. This is what they will use to take their tests, take their sports-specific tests. So you'll need to give these to them before their test is due. Again, how you would update this is just go to update directory. Then it will allow you to change. So it'll ask you for your information on your school and then continue, and then you can go back and change any of the coaches that were listed there. So that's just how you update the people within the system under Westridge. The other thing, the second, I feel like probably or most important thing would be to all of the entry forms that you're going to need to know. They're under entry forms up here, and then they're separated by the month in which they are due. However, some of them you can do them every month, but they're not necessarily due till the end of the year. So for example, the loss of instructional time. It has it under there for each month just because it assumes that you're playing a sport each month and you might want to update it as you go along. However, I updated it at the end of each sport. So you can go in and enter the loss of instructional minutes, which is based on how many students played or how many athletes participated in that sport and what time they left for various away games. So you would, and it does it for you in an Excel sheet, you would say, they left at 3:30 and there's 33 players, which means 33 players lost 35 minutes of instructional time, and so forth. But you could do that every month, or you could do it at the end of each sport. So if I go back to here, so these are the different forms that are due in June or can be filled out in June. And if you click on the forms, you'll see most of them will have high school at the top or high school and middle school, so they do not obviously all apply to you. The red forms can be mailed in or faxed. The blue forms are what you will fill out right here online. And you will get emails by KSHSAA that will say, hey, this form is coming up, it's due next month, and this is how you would go find it. If it said it's due October 10th, you would go under October and find the form there. So that would be another important element of knowing how to run the website. The other thing would be eligibility. You can do this different ways. I uploaded it based on an Excel file from the very beginning, right off the bat, from like girls volleyball and cross country, and then I just added participants to it. So if you go to eligibility, which is up here at the top, and then you go to manage eligibility or eligible participants, you can add or search for names here. so you can search for names that you have. So if you want to make them ineligible, or if you want to say that, you know, maybe they've had a concussion and they're not going to be eligible anymore, usually our trainer handles all of that, but you can do that here. Add participant, and this is everything you'll have to fill out. So if you have the Excel sheet, which I'm sure the athletic director will give you, you can just upload that, or you enter all the information based off of this. Other than that, that is about all that you will use the website for, is just to get coaches their passwords for the tests and enter eligibility and fill out the forms. The other thing that is, let's see here, let's go to sports. The other thing that's important is knowing when things are due, knowing when the exams are due. So if you go to coach sponsor requirements, you could go to activity. So I think this is the schedule. Yeah, so right here is the schedule. I would right away print this off and probably give it to each coach at the beginning of the year. And I would also send them Outlook invites that give them the first day that they can take their test and the last day that they can take their test. And it's generally the same for their rules meeting. So they have so for example, your head volleyball coach will have from July 30th to August 27th to take their volleyball test. So what I would do is send them an Outlook invite that provides their password that says test open, and then an Outlook invite maybe for August 27th that says test close, and put their password in the invite just to remind them of when the test is available and the rules meeting. So this is going to be an important document. I would definitely have paper copies of this that is given to the coaches at the beginning of the year, and then frequently remind them. So if we go back, so let's just pick a sport, boys basketball. So here it has the name of our basketball coach, the date of their CPR. It's all been taken out because it's a new year, but you would want to enter the date in which their CPR expires, and then if they have their concussion requirements, and obviously the basketball coach doesn't need their heat test. But so for example, cross country coaches will need all of that. So if you click on this, you can update any of these requirements for the coaches. Other than that, I think that's about all you really need in here. There might be a few things throughout the year that you might have questions on, in which you would have to navigate the website to find things like rules for basketball, or like that should all be on here. You should also get rule books that you order from the beginning of the year, but also those can be found in PDFs on the KSHSAA website as well. So anytime you have any question about whether there's a regulation, or a parent or a coach has a question about a specific rule, you could find those on here. You also can find a directory of people at the state office who you should be able to shoot emails to and ask those questions to, and they generally get back pretty quickly. So obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. If you need any passwords or can't get into any of this, I should be able to help you out.